Do you finally want to break free from the bondage and chains of reality and break through the matrix and to finally get every manifestation to your heart's content? I'm going to share with you how I see reality, how others see this matrix, and what you can do to start manifesting more in your life. In fact, even Neville knew that reality wasn't what he thought it was. He knew it was. Yo, what's up? Johnny here. I'm really glad you're here today, wherever you're at in the world. If you do need some guidance and you need some help one-on-one, or you like to tip me a coffee or reach out to me privately, you can do so in the description box below. Maybe you're aware of this and maybe you're not, but cultures such as the Egyptians, the Hopis, and even the Mayans knew of this plane. This plane of existence is known to some as the grid. People even talk about seeing this existence that the ancients or the tribes would talk about using spiritual practices and medicines such as ayahuasca. And using these medicines, it reveals this matrix of light. It's the perceptual framework that underlies our photorealistic world. It is the electromagnetic field that's gravitational that makes our reality. However, Neville knew that everything was consciousness. He knew that there was nothing outside of it. He knew that creation was finished, meaning that every potential of you already exists in this reality, in this moment. He knew that the senses that we use, that we see through, that we smell, hear, touch, feel, these senses he would call the facts of reality. He knew that it was false. It was not the external that creates reality. It's the internal one that does. And he knew, or he was taught by Abdullah, that our human imagination, which he would call God, the Christ, which the true meaning of it is the human imagination, which creates our very existence in the reality and the life that is in front of us. In this video, I'm going to share with you 9 things to be aware of that has helped me manifest my reality. You could take what resonates and what doesn't. Everybody's assumptions are different in reality. So whatever assumptions or beliefs that you have, whether something works or something doesn't, whatever you assume to be true is true. There was a comment saying that they would love to just help people with just healing, but they would never do it with manifestation because of repercussions. With this law, the law of assumption, whatever you believe is what's going to harden into fact. If those are your belief systems and that is what you believe to be true, then that is what you're going to get more of. It's not, oh, I'm being negative or I'm being positive, so I'm going to get more of that. Vibration is good, and I'm not saying it's a negative thing. Like, yes, I would want people to be in those positive states and obviously good and spiritual, but I don't necessarily think that those are even necessary to use to manifest your reality. Now, do I think those are helpful to have? Maybe help? It could, but I don't think I need it when it comes to wanting the things that I want in life. So in order for us to become someone new, to become the better version of us, right? If we want to get out of that 95% of people that are barely making it in life, talking about the economy and how everything is collapsing and you better start stocking up for food. When I was working at the gem show out in Tucson and I was helping a company, this guy would talk about how everything is collapsing, yet I'm holding hundreds and hundreds of dollars in my hand and it doesn't make any sense. It is your beliefs is what's going to make your reality. If you want to be in that state of consciousness, go ahead and do that. But in my reality, it makes no sense to waste negative energy or waste any type of energy to something that is not going to help me in the long run. That reality doesn't exist if we put our consciousness away from that reality. When we understand that the consciousness that we have is the power that creates everything, that's why there is a battle for consciousness through what we would call programming, right? TV is called programming for a reason. Everyone's trying to get your attention of consciousness. And if they can get enough people to put on one thought, that thought could create reality. There was a book written, and this book talks about the biggest boat that was ever created. In fact, it was the biggest, the most heaviest one that would cruise the entire ocean. And in that fiction book, it got hit by an iceberg. And guess what happened? The Titanic was created out of a fictional book that was talked about before that was created. And it was off by, I think, maybe 100 tons. A thing maybe a lot of people don't talk about, but Neville said, never do anything or manifest things that you wouldn't want done unto you. Because just like that story of the Titanic and the book that was written from it, his imagination created that, whether it was good or bad, who knows, or maybe coincidence, right? People with a logical mind, and that's where we get into our first step, is 1, stop using your logical mind. You might think, oh, that's just a coincidence. Oh, that was meant to happen. No matter what you were going to say or you were going to do, it was obvious because it was inevitable. There was a story about this woman that wanted her own dance studio. And her having this own dance studio, she learned about using her imagination to create reality through Neville. So she imagined her having a studio. And guess what happened? Someone called her up and says, hey, I would like to partner. I don't think I can handle this studio. So she accepted that. However, after about a year of working at this dance studio, she didn't feel like she wanted to be a partner. She wanted to have the whole studio to herself. And then she recalled this book on her shelf. I believe it was Out of This World by Neville. What she did was she's like, you know what? Let me use my imagination again. So she imagined herself having her own dance studio in Reno. Next thing you know, it popped up. She got this place. Now, to go about the logical mind is that she was explaining to somebody at this studio that she was going to be the talk of the town. She was going to be the talk of this franchise. It was a franchise dance studio. The odds of her getting a dance studio in this little city was already slim to none, which she got. And she told this person that her studio is going to be the talk, the big talk of at this convention. And he said, oh no, that's impossible. That's never going to happen. And she said, yes, it will. It is going to happen. Everyone's going to be talking about me. And guess what happened at this convention? They were talking about her studio. Now, what happened here was the guy was still using his logical mind. Oh, that was going to happen already. This was inevitable. She also proved a couple other things to this person. But the problem with this guy's mind is it kept thinking logical and it kept finding reasons of why it was going to happen the way it was going to happen. And even though it looked so natural and it felt so natural and he seen it that way, it never looked out of the ordinary for him. Our own enemy is going to be the logical mind. It is our thoughts. This logical mind is going to destroy you. It will think with the 5 senses. If it doesn't see anything in its reality, it's going to take it as not fact. And when I started reading into Neville more, one thing clicked for me. It almost felt like he was trying to say that you had to be delusional because it isn't the external one that we see. No matter what we see in our reality, we have to deny it with all our senses. I don't care what you see in your reality. If everything is falling apart, you need to ignore that. Are you getting value out of this? Make sure to like and subscribe. And if you already are, I really appreciate you. Do share below your tips on manifestation and help others out in the comments that are unaware. And maybe we can have a conversation on this topic or anything more in detail of a particular part of this video. Maybe we can go more into that. 2, we just need to focus our attention and awareness into our inner reality and not the external one, right? I don't care what it is being shown in your reality. If something is falling apart, ignore it. Now, I know people say it's hard to ignore when you're losing your home and you're about to get an eviction. What we need to understand here is that even though it is falling apart, and even if you were forced to get kicked out on the streets, even though you were still persisting in the end, you do not waver. Because what would happen is that the bank would call and actually say, you know what, we'll actually put you right back in the house. Something unexpected will get you right back into where you're supposed to be. Or it could be leading you to something bigger in life. Number 3 is that these circumstances do not exist. We are creating our circumstances. What is happening, and some people would call this, is everything is you pushed out. Everything is a reflection of you. When you start thinking, why are these circumstances happening in my life? It isn't because you can blame, oh, it's this, and this. We have to start taking responsibility for our own self and start thinking, what is really causing this? And we need to dig deeper into that and start looking within ourselves and see what we can fix in our self-concept that could be reflecting this back out. And Neville talks about self-concept and how everything we believe and what we assume to be of us, we can easily change that in an instant. All we have to do is assume and live as if we were already that person, that being. Number 4 is that we need to persist only in the end and not the middle. How everything's going to work. We don't need to think of everything or what do I need to do next? I'm living in the end. What do I need to do? Don't ever waver from that. We just want to keep persisting in the end until we get the desire that we want. We do not want to think of the middle. Why imagine yourself filling out an application, to get approved for a home? Just imagine you're already in the home. There's no point of thinking about all the middle steps that it takes to get you to your final destination, right? Number 5 is we really just want to stop thinking of the how and the time it takes to get it. I've read numerous stories coming from Neville, and some of these things come in days, instantly. Some could take weeks, some could take months. The fact that time isn't so important because it still has to align in our reality and to get it to come to us. Sometimes there's a lot of things that might have to be shifted around in your reality to get to where you need to be. Or sometimes it could happen quickly and instantly. But we can't stop thinking of the time, because when we start thinking of time, then we start thinking of the lack of and not having our desire. And then we go back into this spiral of not having our desire. And then we start questioning whether this even works. We have to stop thinking of the how. How causes doubt. Anytime I think of the word how, it's going to cause doubt in my mind. And that is the last thing you want to do, is have that in your mind. Number 6 is we have to stop looking for validation in our 3D. We do not need to force anything in our 3D. Let it come to you. Everything will naturally fall into place, whether it's the least amount of effort. We would call this the law of least effort. It's the minimum amount of effort needed for your manifestation to come into existence. So you can't have a video blow up on YouTube without making the video. So there might be a tiny bit of effort, but you don't need to go run around, oh, I need to promote it to 1,000 places to get it to do what it needs to do. Not at all. I've seen it happening before, and it happened to one of my videos. You don't need to do anything. It will happen naturally on its own, and it will come to you. So let the universe do its work and expect it to do its job, and let it come to you how it's supposed to come. You might get something like, they call it inspired action, something in you that gut instinct, that makes you just go out. Sometimes you don't even know that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing to get the manifestation, because you're living in the end. So your subconscious is going to make you act, right? And it's like a zombie, right? But it's going to make you move and make the movements necessary to get that manifestation, whether you're consciously aware of that or not. It will lead you to your manifestation. Number 7, a big one, is that our negative self-talk. We need to stop talking negative to ourselves, and we need to stop talking negative about others, because everything's a reflection of us. So we have to stop putting that out into the reality that we are in, because the more of that we talk about, the more it's going to come back into us. Our self-talk, our inner talk, is going to reflect back out. So we need to start talking to ourselves better. A method that could be simple to help you with your own self-talk is by communicating with yourself through the mirror. It's known as the mirror method, right? I remember this kid was dancing in the mirror. I'm so beautiful. I love my mommy. I love my daddy. I love everybody. And she was like saying this in the mirror, and it was like, I don't think she knew that she was doing a manifestation method. It was already natural to her. And Neville would say, we would never have negative thoughts or negative emotions or even questioning reality if we're just crowding the mind with the thought that we want. If we crowd the mind and we put that thought in our mind so much, there's no room for anything. There's no room to think about negativity. I can't, because everything I'm thinking in my mind is all the affirmations, everything that I want in my life. So how do I have time to even think of those thoughts? Now, if you go on autopilot, and I know a lot of us do go on autopilot, number 8, I would say, is you got to meditate. Neville even talks about it himself, that, you lay back in a couch or lay back and close your eyes, clear your mind. But when you sit down with yourself and close your eyes, whether it's 10 or 15 minutes, this is another way to control that subconscious mind. You will hear thoughts as soon as you sit down and close your eyes. Sit down, close your eyes, go to Meditative Mind. I love them. They have simple, easy music with frequencies, solfeggio scale and stuff like that. But just do it for 10, 15 minutes. You don't have to go forever. So you can hear your negative thoughts. It's going to start speaking to you. I got to go. I got to get up. I got to go check my phone. Oh, I need to go do this. I got to go do that. And what you need to do is say, shut up. I'm in control. We're going to get up when I say we're going to get up. And I don't want to hear any excuses coming out of your mind. I don't want to hear any more excuses, because I'm going to sit here until we get through this. This is when you take back your power. You take back your subconscious mind. Number 8 is to stop thinking of the manifestation and think from it. If we're thinking of the manifestation, it will never appear in our reality. It will show around us, because I'll get some comments and say, yeah, I was thinking about a car and then I saw it, and then I was thinking of this and then this happened, and I was thinking about this and this happened. But they saw it outside in their reality. They saw that through their own lenses. If you want those things in your life, then that is not the way to think about them, because you're just thinking of it and it appears as if you've seen it. What you would do is you think from it. So I just imagine myself driving this vehicle, touching it, feeling it, smelling it, and I didn't know how I was going to get it, because the job I had barely made enough. But I knew it was mine. So I thought from it. The most important thing is that once you feel the natural of it, knowing that it's going to come into your life, that it is fact, that it is yours, that you own it now, right? That is what the feeling is that it is mine already. It's like, let's say, for example, how did it feel when you finally paid off your house or paid off your car, or get something that was very hard to obtain or collect, right? And you finally get this thing to your collection that was so rare, right? Now you were excited, right? But then after the naturalness of, because it's already mine, what does that feel? So we feel this naturalness. And once that naturalness comes, is letting go. We let go and allow the universe, we allow God, we allow our subconscious, we allow reality to unfold the way it's supposed to unfold. And everything will conform to it. This matrix is only when we understand that reality is us, the reality is you that's creating it. It's through consciousness, it is our awareness. Everything you desire is already yours. It doesn't matter what you want in this life or how hard it is to get, the infinite possibilities. We know that every potential exists in this moment, and every potential of you is already in here. What we do is we shift into that reality where that potential already exists. It's just like, oh, I want to win the lotto. What is the numbers? And this is just an example. The numbers don't even matter, because you will shift into the reality with the numbers that you already picked to be the winner. So if that is your fate, then go ahead and play. Everyone has their own purposes, right? Everyone has their own truths of what they believe is enough for them. You guys got this. No matter what you want in life, everything is yours. You don't need to force anything outside of you, outside in your 3D. You don't need to go chase for money, and you don't need to go work hard. There is a season for that, but you really don't need to work hard for it to come to you. It will come and shift into your reality naturally, like it's supposed to happen. You want to have things come to you effortlessly. Until then, if you still want to level up your manifestation, check out this video here to level up your reality.